The dusk settled heavy over the valley, painting the world in bruised violet and gold. The wind was weary, dragging dust across the porch, whispering through the tall grass. Mara sat on the steps, her arms around her knees, watching the last light fade behind the hills. She waited for something, maybe for the ache to fade, maybe for the courage to speak. Behind her, the cabin glowed warm with lamplight. She could hear Jonas inside, humming low as he finished his supper. She pressed a hand to her thigh and winced. The pain had been there for days, sharp and deep, worse with each step. She'd told herself it would pass, but tonight it burned, hot and angry. The door creaked open. Boots thudded on the porch. Jonas stepped out, broad-shouldered, face lined with dust and worry. "You all right, Mara?" he asked. She tried to smile, but it trembled. I don't know." He sat beside her, close but not too close. "You've been quiet all day. What's wrong?" She looked away, shame in her eyes. "It's not healing. Down there. I thought it would, but it's worse." Jonas was silent. The air between them grew heavy. "Let me help," he said gently. Fear flickered in her gaze, but she nodded. "Just, be careful, please." He led her inside, the storm brewing outside like a warning. Mara sat on the bed, trembling hands in her lap. The lamplight flickered. Jonas knelt beside her. "Show me where it hurts," he said softly. She lifted her skirt to reveal the wound, angry, red, and swollen. The skin burned hot under his touch. He drew a sharp breath. "How long's it been like this?" "A week, maybe more," she whispered. "I thought it would heal." He cleaned the wound carefully, trying to keep his voice steady. But the infection had spread. The skin around it darkened, and he knew what that meant. "You should have told me sooner," he said. "I was scared. I didn't want to be a burden." He shook his head. "You're not a burden. Not ever." Outside, the wind howled through the valley. The house groaned in the storm. Jonas boiled water, mixed herbs like his mother once did, and prayed it would be enough. Hours passed. The fever rose. Mara drifted in and out of dreams, calling for her mother, for mercy. Jonas sat by her side, wiping her brow, whispering, "Stay with me. Please." She stirred, barely awake. "You didn't leave," she murmured. "Never," he said. "I promised." As the first light of dawn crept through the cabin window, the fever finally broke. Mara's skin cooled. Her breathing steadied. Jonas sat by her side, exhausted but hopeful. When her eyes opened, she managed a weak smile. "I think, it's better." He smiled back, relief washing over him. "You did it. You fought." She reached for his hand. "I couldn't have done it alone. You stayed." Jonas's eyes softened. "You're not alone. Not anymore." Days passed. The wound healed. Her laughter returned, light as the morning breeze. The neighbors came by with bread and stories, never asking about the scar, only smiling, grateful she'd lived. One evening, as the sun sank behind the fields, Mara stood on the porch again. Jonas joined her, quiet and steady. "Thank you," she said, "for not turning away, for helping me heal." He slipped his arm around her shoulders. "You taught me courage," he said softly. "Sometimes the hardest thing is to stay." The wind moved slow across the land, carrying the scent of rain and new beginnings. The silence was no longer empty, but full of hope.